Here we are, back with episode 5 of The Pit. Today we are joined by the legend Powerhouse, 22 esports player for the upcoming Challenger season. How are we?
All good, mate. Same shit every day, you know?
Different day.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it. Feeling good for this year?
Very good, yeah. Very optimistic.
I absolutely love it. So let's get straight into it. Segment 1, getting to know the player. So you started your open bracket / Challenger career back in World War II, where you racked up over 8,000 pro points. Talk us through that year.
I'll go back further because when I first started competing was Ghost, but that was just sort of playing game battles and stuff. Advanced Warfare was sort of the same, and then Black Ops 3, I was 17, and that was the year they brought in the 18 plus rule, and I was fucking good at that game at the start. Um, and then Infinite Warfare was my first year 18 plus. But the less said about that, the better, because my first event, I think I got dead last.
Ooh.
Um, and then the second event was CWL Sheffield. Got top 28, which was like a very average placement at that event. And then World War Two, like you were saying, was an all right year pro points wise, but that was that was still when you had to play like your daily pro points and stuff.
Yeah.
You play like 5 games a day. You'd sweat them out, and then you'd try and have enough time for scrims. Um, I think I got to one event on that game, which was Birmingham, and that again was dead last.
Yeah,
Uh,
I was looking at that and I couldn't find anything on if you'd gone to Birmingham or not. Were you under a
yeah,
different alias then?
I was probably Josh J with 3 H's then.
That makes a lot of
Uh,
sense.
the Powerhouse thing kind of only became a proper thing like Black Ops 4 time. Um, but yeah, that event I went under an org called Devious. I think that was the name of it. With Rob Sway, Bakes, and Side to Pay. All 3 players don't play anymore. I mean, basically anybody that went to that event like doesn't really play anymore, unless you were like top echelon.
Yeah, I was looking through that earlier and just the amount of names on there that just don't play is just
Like
heartbreaking.
it feels like it's just me and Avo, who you already had on the podcast, are like the last two like left from like Advanced Warfare days.
Yeah, especially the ones that have probably played through the most of it. Like you have some players
Yeah,
that come back for like 2 months every year, but other than that, like you two are probably the biggest grinders
yeah.
throughout.
Even I've been guilty of quitting and stuff in certain games.
For good reason.
But yeah,
So last year you attended the Toronto LAN. You've had a top 24 at MWIII Champs, securing $2,000. You had a top 16 that year as well in the online Paris Open, as well as the Seattle Open. London
yeah.
in Black Ops 4, you had a 33 to 48 placement. Out of them events I've named, or another one that I haven't mentioned, what is the most favourite one you've attended?
CWL London 2020. I went under. I think the org was called Valerie. It was me, Snake Cod, Melvin, Seanyy, and Sean. Um, we placed top 12, and we beat Joey Gizmo, BB Connor, Genesis, Quicker, and I forget who their fourth was. Keza comes to mind, but I don't know if it was Keza. Um, that's definitely the favorite event.
That's a great squad you've put together there as well.
It was. This is where you might not know this. There was like a meme around me back then. Power Pass, I was called
No.
because I had a team pass for the event, and it was coming up to the event, and I had a pretty average team. Like we were going to get top 24, probably dead last, to be honest. Um, but Jay Enrico was playing with these guys that I went to the event with, and I started playing like tens with Basiti, and we kept getting picked on the same team and kept winning and kept winning. Me and him were just vibing. I was like, "Yo, Bez, I've got a team pass here, and Jay Enrico's pretty crap. So no disrespect to Rico, nice guy, but I was a bit of a twat back then, to put it lightly. So I was like, that guy's pretty crap. Would you fancy getting me in? And he went and talked to Snake and Melvin Sean, and I think me being Northern Irish, Melvin being Northern Irish, kind of helped. And then that was when the team was formed. And oh fuck, I mean, we weren't really good, but fuck, like it felt great being on that team.
That's a great placement, by the way.
Yeah, the two series that we won were class. Avo talked on one of the episodes about the 1v1 he had, or that I had when I was on his team for that
Seattle one.
Open. Yeah, the Seattle one. It was against the 1v1 was against Josh Vital, this guy I had known since Ghosts, and we had like a bit of a rivalry. And there's even further background to it because I used to referee under 13s football when I was like 15, 16, and I actually refereed a couple of his games, and then we met a couple of years later playing Ghosts, and then fell out then, had a rivalry for years, and his first event that he ever attended, he's got me first round. So it was like written in the stars, me versus him, and I was not fucking losing. Beat him, stood up, give him the whole, you don't beat the Powerhouse, all that crap, and then fucking went on to play against Joey Gizmo and gave them it as well.
That's an unreal though. That's absolutely
I,
unbelievable. You must be gassed.
I was very gassed, and then we got our ass handed to us by what do you call it, Royal Ravens Academy in the next round.
What can you do?
I'm telling you, mate, Wee Man and Madcat, and the Tin for that matter, unbelievable on LAN, unbelievable.
Yeah, probably some of
It
the best players and challengers to ever do it in
it
the EU.
it felt like playing against Wee Man online. Felt like you were getting joked, like online. Guy, you miss a bullet, you're dead.
Everyone says this about him, yet he's still sat in challengers.
And and he had that amazing run. Was it Black Ops 4 champ when he was playing with like units team? I
Yeah,
think it was when he was with, like rated and that. He's an unbelievable player, but sometimes it just doesn't go your way in COD. Like you can be unbelievable and you just never get the break.
there's a lot more to it than just your ability in the game, unfortunately.
Yeah, precisely. Friendships,
Circles, 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 as Avo said.
big thing. Yeah.
But so Toronto, I touched on it there. Toronto, was that your first NA event?
No, I went to Vegas in Black Ops 4.
So you did go to the Open.
Yeah, went to Vegas in Black Ops 4 and got top 80. Um, should have got like top 48. That team was under Socially, who are now disbanded. They merged with a bunch of different orgs. It was me, Aroma, Gabe, Callum Codd, who doesn't play anymore, but he was unreal. Wow. Frim J and Dingbat, who doesn't play anymore
Yeah,
either.
yeah. That's a serious squad. That's it's
We
disappointing
we
placement.
we were class. I'm at like the only it was literally all me. Like why we didn't do well at that event because leading up to it, I had PlusNet. Shout out to PlusNet, by the way. Your internet service is bollocks, mate. I could not play a scrim without being on 300 ping. So
Oh,
we just didn't get to scrim or do much like leading up to the event, and it completely screwed us over.
yeah. Are they the two events you've been to in the NA?
Yeah.
What did you think of Toronto last year?
Um, Playing wise, the less said, the better. But the city and the actual event, like spectating and all, yeah, it was class. Real like can't wait to go back this year
Oh,
and do it properly because last year kind of just went from the Airbnb to the venue and then back to the Airbnb. Didn't really get to see much of Toronto,
yeah.
which was a real shame.
Well, we might touch on that in a future segment. We'll see. But I mean, so after the MW19 champs, we scored $2,000. The team stuck for the first two 2Ks of the next title. What happened to the team that you found successful with? How come they split so early after only two Challenger Cups?
Which was it?
Yeah, MW19 champs team. The next COD they split after the two cups.
Going into
Cold War.
going into Cold War. Who did I play with at the start of Cold War? It's like me, JC Wiley, Tremor, and Jodley. me and Jodley stuck together actually. Um, and then I kind of snaked them like just before the first 2K to play with Logic and
Right.
Rovers and Carlson.
So it was Jodley that you stayed with from it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I knew there was some aspect of it. Yeah. What happened? Because obviously, like, you come off the back of the champs, and then
Uh,
the placements weren't great in the first two Ks, but they weren't horrendous. Like, what happened?
um, I mean, getting top 24 at MW champs wasn't like overly difficult to be honest. Like we had auto qualified, and I think if we hadn't auto qualified and we had to go through last LCQs, we wouldn't have made it. Like there was some really good teams in
That
there,
was stacked that year.
but like we just had enough pro points. Like we made the team so that we had enough pro points to auto qualify. So it wasn't a perfect team. It was pretty crap to be honest. But we played against like Rye Beams, like Meebow, Amelia Rose, and that for the 400 quid each, and 3-0'd them, and that was it really. Like we didn't really put up much of a fight against any other teams. I think we got reverse swept in round one actually, against like Mimo and that, which wasn't great, but still made some money. So who cares?
I mean, $2,000 at any event still absolutely tippable. But there was some controversy around that Rye Beams team as well, wasn't there? After Chums had finished.
Did they? Yeah, they went through LCQs, and it was almost as if some players weren't actually playing on their
Yeah,
accounts.
that was it. Someone played on their accounts or
Some
something, weren't it? Coming up.
some people seemed to be a lot better than they actually were. I really like Mike Meebow, a good guy. But it just so happened that around the same time that CD was using some weird gun. I forget. It was an AR with a fast fire rate. But CD was the only one using it, and it just so happened that at LCQs, Mike Meebow decided to get it and he was shooting quite like CD and moving quite like CD on the map. So I'm not going to say anything, but you know, the dots do join up.
VAR is going to be needed on that one.
Yep. Yeah.
So justice was served.
Check that right now.
You took the money.
Yep. Thank goodness. Thank goodness they were on their own accounts because the people who were on their accounts at LCQs had to play their own champs.
Is there anything else on your history of competing that you'd like to touch on in this segment that the people might not know, or have we covered it all?
I think we probably covered it all. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some crap placements, 2 or 3 good ones. That's about it.
Oh yeah, I mean, to touch on it overall, I think that's like looking at it. It has been all over the place, and realistically, like you haven't been able to secure yourself like a team that stuck together long term.
Yeah, it's. I mean, you know how it is. It's insanely difficult to get that kind of team environment going on in challengers because like, in fairness, when you get a honeymoon period with a new team, like it is great. So you just keep It's like an addiction almost.
Yeah.
It's like you're gambling on the next team getting a honeymoon period and it continuing. So that's kind of what everybody just goes for. And I mean, I think everybody knows in the long run it's not the best idea, but it just keeps happening again and again.
It's the problem with the ecosystem we're in. Like every week, you need points at these 2Ks. So
Yeah,
you say the
exactly.
honeymoon period. Like this is probably where it's like most effective in like any sport that I've ever been a part of. Like Call of Duty, like you say, it always seems to just work.
Yeah, it's the same as like a new manager bounce in football. You know, so like a team hires a new manager and they go like Everton signed Sean Dyche last season and beat Arsenal first game. Like what?
I'd love to know like the scientific facts behind it. It's got to be like some sort of just rush in you. Just
It's it's just what it is. I think is you get a team together and usually you'll look to play with people that you like. You know, so you get the team together and you start playing and you're just doing your own thing. Like and it works. And then you keep playing for a while and it stops working. You start to change things. You try to get people to do stuff that they don't want to do
yeah,
for the benefit of the team, and then it just crumbles.
yeah. No, I think
That's
you're right.
usually the way it works.
You start finding like cracks in the armor and like pointing people out and stuff. Like when you
Yeah,
get more familiar with them and stuff.
yeah. Once you start trying to stick it on someone for making a mistake or whatever, if they don't like it, they'll either not listen to you, or they will have an argument with you, and then the cycle repeats.
That's 99% of the time. That's the two outcomes in COD Challenger teams.
Yep.
So But I mean, that's segment one completed, so we'll get into the excitement segment for me, the Modern Warfare 3 season. You are teamed with Zappy, Lewis, and an unnamed fourth, who we might know but we won't say, for the
Okay.
upcoming Challenger season under 22 Esports. What made you want to team with two rookies? And quite frankly, I guess in the current ecosystem, we've already said take the risk on the pro point situation for bad seeding.
It's not the first time that I've taken a risk on play like that team that I talked about in Black Ops 4 with Aroma, Callum, and Frimjay and
Mm.
that on it. Aroma and Callum had no pro points. They were newly 18 that year. So it's not the first time that I've taken a risk. And it paid off last time. And I believe in these two that it'll pay off again. The best time to take a risk is at the very start. Because, like, your seed doesn't overly matter for the first 2K as long as you don't get, like, a cursed seed and you play against seed 1 for top 32 or whatever. So, give me around a 48 seed with these two with no pro points, where we're playing against 16th seed for top 32 and 17th seed for top 16, and I'll take that. That's if that were to happen, that'd be fantastic. But either way, these two, especially Brandon, I had been not scouting, but like I had my eye on him the whole way through MW2.
Yeah.
I was really tempted whenever things were going wrong with my teams for Toronto to say to him, come to Toronto, and I'll take you to your first event, and I'll fucking you'll get to show off what you can do. I never said to him. I just wanted to let him do his own thing and just keep learning a little bit. But now it's the time to pull the trigger and get that kid under the wing. And then Lewis was a suggestion from Brandon, and I fully trust Brandon's call on Lewis. I've seen Lewis play with Brandon. The two of them, there's a chemistry about the two of them, which
100%.
is good. It's exactly what you need at the start of a new game because it's all teamwork. It's all if them two have been in the same team, they know how to critique each other and to learn together, and it's an important thing. So I have a lot of faith in them too, to say the least.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. Like, if you have four people that have never played together, like, it's very hard to critique each other. You don't know where you stand, but if you've already got like a core two there that are familiar with each other and can call each other out like freely, like, it's a big thing.
Yeah, it's the same premise that I was saying earlier. Whenever I got onto that team for London with Melvin being Northern Irish, the fact that Brandon's Northern Irish, I'd always loved the team with people from the same country as me. You just get each other better, and it's just nice to have someone like that. So I mean, not only is he from here, but he's also a serious talent. Like I think I get giddy talking about his talent. I genuinely think he's the fucking next up. I do.
I mean, what?
Maybe not like he's not going to go straight from playing with me to the pro league or to
No.
wherever. But I genuinely think he's got something.
Yeah, well, in the current pro point system, like, to me, it's a 3-year cycle from like bottom to like top end challenges. Would you agree, or do you think that can be achieved quicker?
Yeah, yeah, that's yeah. If I were to look at it from my own like road, IW was like the first year. You got to just build some pro points. In World War Two, you get more pro points. And then was it
Black Ops 4.
it was Black Ops 4. Yeah, it pretty much like you, the problem is you can't take a year off.
No, you can't.
As soon as you take a year off, you set yourself back down a tier. So sometimes if you get lucky in the first 2K, you can bounce yourself back up. But you can't take a year off, which I've done twice. So that's my bad.
That's some advice for the younguns. But
Yeah.
so with this team you've got, your expectations going into the first youth 2Ks with their pro points in mind, with your seeding, what is the realistic expectations on a placement?
Top 32 at a bare minimum. That's like you don't want to aim for top 32. You want to win. You want to win the thing, obviously.
Yeah,
But getting top 32 in the first one, you can then roll that on. You get a decent seed for the second one, and if you get a favorable matchup in the second one for top 16, or even if you get top 16 the first one, you get a favorable matchup for top 8. It's just about trying to get a good foundation off the first tournament. You know, like we are going to be one of those teams that is far better than their seed would suggest.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what I look for every year is to make sure that I have a team that's better than the seed suggests, not just a team that's put together to get a good seed to play against shitters.
Because realistically, we're probably going to have four or 2Ks before the first major.
More than likely.
What do you think? Cut the top 32s, maybe a top 16.
Yeah, that would be a decent start. Anything beyond that, that's perfect.
Which and we spoke about this with Avo actually. So hopefully you can get a good seed in the EU. But as we found out last year, like the NAs were so far ahead of EU that regardless of the EU seed, and like didn't really matter. Like you're gonna have a rough event. Do you see the same happen again? Do you see the NA being just above and beyond now in Call of Duty titles in general, or do you think like it can still be level pegging? We can still outdo them.
I don't like in terms of the top echelon. If we're talking about that, if you look at the top 4 teams in Europe now, or maybe even the top 5, they're stacked.
Yeah, top 5.
Like they're stacked with serious players. And then below that, the next 2 or 3, you've got some serious upset potential. But I think it's whenever you drop down below that that the gap sort of widens because there's a bigger pool of talent in America.
Yeah.
There's just more people. There's going to be. So like the amount of talented teams runs down probably to like 16th seed. Whereas if you get down to 16th seed in EU, they don't have a chance against the 16th seed NA.
No,
You know?
I agree. Like that middle portion of players, probably the players that have retired and like left the scene because the current state is
Yeah,
in. Yeah.
exactly. But like our, EU's top 3-4 seeds, probably tournament winners, near enough every time.
Yeah, the top, we went over it last episode, and like the top 5 EU seeded teams as of right now are like stacked. Like,
Insane.
like Team Barnes, like Yako's
That team of
team.
bands. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you got
Yeah.
Yako's team, Vortex's team with Gizmo. Like it's just never ending. Wee Man's team, like, and none of them have orgs, but yeah, that's another story. Just EU stacked.
That's the way it is in COD, man. Like those guys that are up there in terms of seed, they are looking for some serious financial support, and there's little to no return on investment. Like you do understand it from an organization standpoint, but it is frustrating that these guys don't have the support to get them to events sometimes.
100%. It is what it is. But so
My
this year,
favorite saying.
it is this year with the events. Obviously, we've got the format now, the structure. What are your plans for the 4 majors going forward? How many do you think we're going to see you at?
At least 2. At least definitely the first. I need to attend the first event of a game again. Like Vegas was the first event of Black Ops 4, and then London was the first event for Modern Warfare 2019. So I need to attend. Like that event is so important. Boston definitely, and then definitely Toronto, just because it's Toronto. Like, lordy, what a place!
So one and 3 definitely.
1 and 3 definitely. 2 and 4. Two is all dependent on the performance at 1. Realistically.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
But so next up, we've got the UK local events, which we've been rumored to have 3 in Middlesbrough under Katana. Do they interest you at all, or is it something you're going to try and avoid?
No, they do interest me. The fact that the organizers though have specifically said it's not going to overlap with 2Ks, I think is massive. Whether it interests the majority of the scene, I don't know. Also, it's Middlesbrough. Like, like, well, I would be interested in going to at least one because it's just like those smaller events are just fun. We used to that used to be what the COD EU scene was
Yeah.
in like Advanced Warfare Ghosts, like Insomnia events, and the pros, EGLs. The Gfinities were a bit bigger, but there was there was at least 3 or 4 local EU tournaments a year.
I mean, hopefully they can get it towards the right caliber of player and get a lot of the scene's interest. But do you see it good for practice, like to get them younger lads in that sort of
Oh
environment
yeah,
as much? Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. To get them, the experience of playing online, because like it can shake you up if you're not headstrong. Like it can shake you up, and if you're the slightest bit not confident in your own ability, you can struggle. So it's good to like it would be good to get one of those events under the belt before America,
Yeah, that's what I was going to touch
if
on,
if
100% if
if
we
it was
can.
possible.
Yeah.
But the only problem with smaller events in the UK is ACCL and Big Prezi kind of ruined the reputation of smaller organisers. So it's about getting the first one right, and then you'll have the trust of the community. You know?
Yeah, I feel like they've got the name for it as well. Like they've been doing online tournaments and stuff for a while. Like,
Oh yeah,
if there's anyone to trust, you'd like to think it's them. But I think
yeah.
you're right. Like if they can get one before Boston, then I think that'd be absolutely massive, and that would probably have the greatest success. But if that's doable, we'll have to see because it's a short turnaround.
In the time frame with Christmas being like not long after the game comes out, and then what's Boston like a month after Christmas. That
Yeah.
like where realistically do you get a weekend in there where there isn't a 2K? And how do you know when the 2Ks are going to be until they're announced? God knows when that is.
Who knows? We're a
We're a,
week off the game. We ain't got it.
we're a very organized bunch in Call of Duty. We are very organized. We know what we're doing at all times. Yes.
Unreal. So I said it earlier, like you having a dedicated team for a long period of time hasn't really been a thing. It looks like for the first time in a while, this might be the case with being under 22 esports with Lewis and Zappy.
Yeah.
If that does stick for a while, you as a player specifically, not even really the team, like, are you going to look at bringing a coach and sort of analysts in? Do you see like a big benefit to them, or
Yeah.
not something you really thought at?
Yeah. Like honestly, it's probably one of the biggest things. Like maybe not so much having a coach. Like I feel like 4 people can like if you give 4 people a VOD and they just sit and watch it themselves, they're probably between the 4 of them, they're probably going to figure out what's wrong. It is nice to have a fifth opinion in certain scenarios, but just having somebody to record VOD is massive. Like, especially, I mean, it was different last year because there was no red dots on the map, so you couldn't tell where anybody was spawning. If the hill wasn't or like if there was nobody in the hill, sometimes there were different spawns across the map. Sometimes you were spawning beside someone. You couldn't tell where they were shooting. All that like VOD was massive last year, and I didn't have it for a long, like pretty much the whole game. So having a coach or somebody to record VOD at the start of the game.
So if there's an up and comer looking to do some legwork, you're all
If
ears.
there's anybody who wants to come, specs it some greatness and help us out, find my line,
There we go.
please.
Hit the man's Twitter up. You find it in the description below. But that is the end of segment 2. Segment 3, we've got first look at MW3 Challenger events. Now we've got the structure. Major one's going to be in Boston, January 25th to 28th, and then we get a first trip to Miami for Major 2, March 21st to 24th. Major 3, Toronto, which you'll love, May 16th to 19th, and then June 20th to 23rd. We've got Major 4, the Carolina Royal Ravens. I don't really want to talk about that one, but
I'd rather not.
that's our 4 events. So we're going to exclude champs for this one. I'm going to ask you to rank the 4 majors we have from top to bottom in the 3 following categories. So the 3 categories can be most excited to attend, most expensive to get to, and most likely to attend. So let's start with most excited to attend, and let's go top to bottom. So your first one out of them 4.
Right. So Toronto and Boston are equal, but I will give Toronto the edge because it's going to be Boston in January and it's going to be friggin' freezing. Like my hands are going to be like ice blocks. So Toronto gets first, Boston gets second, Miami third, Carolina. Let's not even bother talking about it.
It's an absolute
Frauds.
it's an absolute mockery. We could take it off
Frauds.
the list. they're gonna have, like, to me, like, I don't know if I'm being too bold on this, but I can't see them having any support next year.
Who wants to go to Carolina, man?
I
Like, no
actually heard
harm.
this though. I've actually know the reason now makes sense. So that state in America gives funding for esports events. It's like 150k funding straight off the back for events, which is why they've gone there. I saw someone post
That's
it out earlier.
right. Now the dots are connected. Now I see why they couldn't host an event in London for 3 years, but as soon as they go to Carolina, oh, we've got an event, guys.
Yeah, the news journalist said that it costs £1 million to host one of these events, and yeah, they get 15% of that by the state. So like, starts to add up, don't it?
Unbelievable.
So yeah, right. So that is most excited to attend done. Most expensive to get to. Now, I've got my theory on this, but I want to hear yours. So let's go from the top.
What time's Miami?
March 21st to 24th.
Miami probably will be the most expensive, if I would have thought, just because it's a popular destination to begin with, and you're sort of coming in towards Easter there. So, like, supply demand in terms of flights and stuff, I would say that's going to be the most expensive.
Yeah.
Then you would think Toronto would be second most expensive. Then I see. I think Carolina is actually a pretty hard place to get to, or like to get flights for.
Yeah.
So it could be kind of expensive because I think Raleigh was really expensive at the start of MWII, was
Yeah.
it?
It just made no sense having an event there, but we
Yeah.
did.
And then, I mean, at the minute, from what I've looked, Boston is the cheapest.
I would have gone the exact same way with you. So let me know in the comments as
Yeah.
well which way everyone else thinks. And then let's get on to the last one. Most likely to attend. Just yourself, not the team. And well, actually, we'll have both, right? We'll have yourself, and then we'll do the team after. So for you to attend this year, let's go top to bottom.
Me to attend Boston, Toronto, Miami, Charlotte, aren't Charlotte, freaking, what do you call it?
Carolina.
Carolina. Charlotte's a city in
Same
Carolina, my bad.
difference. Everyone's going to
Yeah.
boycott it. And then if your team works well after the first event,
Well, it's probably the same
So,
order, to be
yeah.
honest. Boston, because we're definitely going to that one, and then depending on performance, Miami, Toronto, Carolina,
Yeah. Because
something along those lines.
that Miami one, I see that just being an issue for everyone because I just can envision it being so expensive. Like it's going to be hard to probably get org funding. Like a lot of people are probably going to chalk it after the first event for this reason,
Yeah.
unless they've had a great event.
It was, from what I remember, there was, I think it was the last LAN before Champs in Black Ops 4 was Miami as well, and I believe it was a pretty sketchy city to be in. Like, people seen some shit. Like,
I never thought we'd see a COD event in Miami. I can't lie to you. I did not think we'd be
yeah,
going back, but
the last one was in June in Miami as well. I'm sure it was.
it was so
lovely.
hot. Apparently, it was. So, I
Yeah.
remember that. Oh, yeah. So January, let's get this right. It's probably about -10 in Boston, and then Miami. We're probably going to go to about 40. So
Yeah.
lovely, just spectacular stuff. Just what you want for gaming, freezing cold or boiling hot.
Yeah. Perfect.
So, and then champs. We'll touch on it quickly. It's going to be Texas. What do you think of that, champs in
good move.
Texas? Yeah.
Good move. I assume it's Optic that are like running it,
Yeah.
or something along those lines. And the thing I think that's good about it is if it is Optic run, Hex and that whole organization understands the importance of champs. Like it's like I was thinking about this the other day. I guess it is like our Champions League, or our Champions League final. It's important.
It's everything.
There could be a level of like prestige to it in terms of the way the main stage is set out, the trophy, the venue, all that stuff. And I think that they will take care of that. I hope they don't do it in that bloody place that they've been doing every Texas major. The Fort Worth something or other.
No, it's not. It was
the Esports Arena in Arlington.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
That was it. I hope they don't do it there because it's a nice venue, but Champs is massive, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for that. I mean, hopefully we see you there at Challenger Champs this year.
Oh, that'd be great.
So,
do you know what? I've just had a thought. Their Optics like HQ now is right beside that. Is it the basketball stadium?
Yeah. You might be onto something there.
don't know how expensive that would be to get, but I think I think Champs has been in basketball stadiums before.
If there's one man in COD that can probably make that happen, it's going to be Hex. So in Hex we trust.
It's Hector Rodriguez.
But on to segment 4. We're going to keep this one short and sweet. Well, go with it as much as you want. But advice for upcoming players. I feel like a lot of players, they don't have many avenues where to look at, like for any sort of inspiration, especially in Challenger. So have you got anything for some upcoming players?
Be a friendly guy. Pays to be friendly. You know,
Lads.
don't do what I done and talk shit to everyone. You know, pick your battles. You know, the COD scene is a lot like an extended school environment. You know, you got your popular kids, you got your kids that get bullied, you got your in-betweeners. And the immature behaviors continue. It's like you get out of school at 18, you still have to deal with immature people, like in the COD scene. Beyond that, you know. Yeah. What else? Don't quit. If you're 18, 19, 20, you seriously want to give it a go, give it a go. Because my thought behind it whenever I was younger was always, if I don't give this a go while I've got the reaction time or I've got the passion for it, when I come to be 30, whatever, I might look back on it and go, God, I wish I actually gave something that I had a genuine passion for a try, rather than just going to some 9 to 5 job and just giving it up. Don't don't quit. Give it a genuine go, and if you're gonna quit, then just don't come back. Be happy with your decision, basically, and don't quit when you get a girlfriend. That's not a good idea. Done that before.
So many people do it.
Now it honestly, like, Advanced Warfare sort of time, everybody would, you sort of come into like 16, 17, whatever age, kind of getting into that stage of your life, and everybody would just quit willy nilly. Oh, I've got a new bird, I'm gonna quit, and it ruined a lot of really good players. Uh, People have other priorities. You kind of have to understand that. There's not a lot of people that want to play COD till they're halfway to 50.
Yeah, I mean, that's what made it depress me. I'm over that now.
I'm just halfway to 50, so I'm gonna hang it out for a little bit.
Good. If Clay's still doing it, why can't you?
Yeah.
He's still got 6 years left, lad. Oh, but so all the advice you've got? They're the main things?
Yeah, just surround yourself with good people. Like, if you can surround yourself with good teammates that actually want to play together for a long time, that's obviously important. Get yourself involved in content as well. Streaming's in Black Ops 3. I told myself you need to stream everything,
Yeah.
and I've barely like here and there tournaments and stuff. If you are good and you stream all the time, you genuinely can make a career out of it. Past competing. Look at Aroma. A good player, yes, but even if he was crap, he's still got a career after competing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It sets you up. Get involved in content, not just streaming. Get yourself in an org that wants to put out content. Get involved in it. It's fun. That's actually my biggest bit of advice is content.
Is it something you wish you'd done more?
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
It definitely, if you can build that side of it, your content side, it definitely helps at this side now more than ever.
Oh yeah.
It's huge, but some players, they still, I mean, they won't even post on Twitter, so I mean, what hope have we got with some of them?
So, like, in fairness, sometimes it's hard to get an org that really
It
wants
is.
to do content. It's few and far between, but the people that get it.
Yeah. Again, just surround yourself with the right people, have the right attitude, grind through it, don't have a year off, and do some content. It's not
Precisely.
hard. It's not hard.
It's not.
Just stick to it.
And
That's probably the biggest thing, right? It's just literally stick to it. No years off,
a-
no weeks off. Don't miss cups. Just turn up.
any things in life are just about showing up consistently.
Yeah.
Like
Preach it.
that's one of the biggest things I've learned in the last 3 years. Just show up and do what you can.
Absolutely preach it. But that's the end of the segment. However, we do have quick fire questions. We are asking our first 5 guests, you're the 4th one, 4 questions. So we'll get into them. Take as long as you want with them.
I should have researched these.
What,
Should have remembered what these were.
what personality in Call of Duty Esports inspired you to be competing in the scene?
I know my answer to this one is Deadshot. And I'll dive into it more. It's going to be nerdy as hell. My GCSE English essay, the topic was write about somebody who inspires you. Did I write my GCSE English essay about Nadeshot? Yes, I freaking did. Yes, I did, and I passed that shit.
I love it.
All I needed, I wasn't good at English in school. I was horrible. Like I was a mad guy. So all I needed was a C. Just get me out. And done an essay about Nadeshot and got a C.
That's good though, because like a lot of people like they don't even like talking about esports or what they do in general. So the fact that you've sat there and wrote something on it, like I love to hear it.
I mean, it did help that there was only one person ever going to see the essay. You know, if I had done it
True.
and my mates had to see it, probably would have picked somebody different. But I mean, if I had been, you know, if I was going through my GCSEs now and I picked Nadeshot, look at all the stuff I have to write about the guy. Like at this point, when was this? Like Advanced Warfare. So all you really had was that he used to work in MWIII, and you know, grinded streaming and became the face of Call of Duty. Whereas now you have all that plus the 100 Thieves, his golf, like, oh
You see him coming, don't you?
yeah,
Zappy is in for a great future, isn't he? Well,
yeah.
oh right, so that might go into the next one to be honest, but maybe not yet. But which EU player do you see getting called up into the CDL next?
Ooh, I mean, three that should be there. Wee Man, Stevo, and then Gizmo probably. The problem is, like, once you get your shot, you normally don't get a shot again.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously for Stevo, he hasn't really had a shot ever. Or like,
Epsilon.
were they in the CWL League in Black Ops 4? I can't remember. I think they were. They're Lightning Pandas, but that's that's the last time he ever had a chance. I'm trying to think younger players. Ben Beans, that guy's insane.
How's he not in the CDL?
I like coming up in like MW 2019, Beans would have been on teams of similar quality to me, and I really didn't like Ben because he's just very like he's very good at COD, and it makes him very arrogant. So I didn't like the guy, but you gotta give him credit, man. The guy's insane. I don't know how he's not on that Boston team this year, or our team.
Even the challenger team, I'm sure they didn't try getting back over there. I don't know what's happened. It's an odd one to me. There's got to be more to it than just he isn't good enough because he is.
I know he can be kind of a very straight talking guy whenever it comes to like telling teammates when they're wrong. And obviously that can cause arguments and stuff. Potentially there's something there. Past that, God, I'd love to come up with a really abstract one. Pack.
Oh,
Pack. He like I don't know. I just think he might have a chance.
he's got a great season this year as well.
He's got a good seed. He's a really good player. He does not get off the game. I think he's like if he can improve, like it's the same as the 3 year cycle. Like he's in that 3 year cycle, but at a higher tier. You know, he was at probably lower part of that upper tier. Then he was sort of in a team where he can make upsets above him, and now he's on a really good seeded team.
Yeah.
So there's a chance for him.
6th seed, I think, this year.
Yeah, and that's without a 4th in it.
Which is crazy, but I don't like they'd have to get someone crazy to like.
They need to get like 50k pro points on their 4th to jump up. But even still, 6th seed you play against third seed for top 6 in the first UK. Like,
Doable. 100% doable.
yeah.
So, oh, some great names there, and hopefully they all get back in there, or get in there for the
Oh, it'd be
first time.
nice. Yeah.
But next up, we've got the most iconic EU organization in Call of Duty history.
Ah, I I like that. I like Davo's answer on this when he split it into eras. That's probably the best way to do it. The most influential. I think it's Epsilon.
Yeah.
Just because that was the year whenever I started playing COD. Like Swanee, Jerd, Tommy, Mad Cat, Flux. Was Flux on the? I think Flux was on Epsilon. Um, yeah, and then you go to Black Ops 3, and it's I suppose Splice is still Splice owned Toronto,
Yeah.
so technically it is Splice.
A lot of people
Then
forget that.
even though they're an American company, but their first team was yeah. Change my answer. It's Splice. It is Splice, but I have a soft spot in my heart for Epsilon.
Yeah, I do, and I really liked Red Reserve before they just went completely rogue. But
Yeah, that team that was that like Rated Joe, Zero, and
Scraps,
Scraps.
yeah,
Ah,
and then
yeah.
yeah, everything just went kapoof. So
I don't know. There was some controversy happened there. I can't remember what it was,
payment
but
issues and stuff from what I saw on the
yeah,
timeline. So yeah, just can't put them there. But I mean, Splice, yeah, their World War Two team as well. Absolutely loved it, and
yeah.
the Black Ops 4 team and Jerd, and yeah, it goes on, don't it?
The Black Ops 3 team that got to champs finals
Yeah,
was it yeah. Rated Joe, Banton,
they
Josh.
and Splice won the only EU chip, right? Or the
Yeah,
first EU chip.
in Infinite Warfare.
Yeah, so
That was a team as well.
it's absolute solid shout. And
So
then
it has to be Splice.
I agree, which goes on to the next one: best European COD player of all time.
Crap. Um, it's Bant.
Just straight up.
It is Bant. Like there is conversation, but it is Bant.
Yeah.
You know, it could be Zero. If you want to go back, it could be Jared, it could be Tommy, it could be Swan. Ah, it is Bant right now, but I'll tell you who it will be in 2 or 3 years' time. It'll be Hydra. It'll be Paco.
Yeah.
Like the guy's already got a world championship. Is he the only European to have a world championship?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guarantee he gets another one somewhere.
He's so highly rated now. If you put him with like another top sub, I mean, he's done great things with Gibbs Smith. Imagine if he was with like a Pred or a Shotzi or something like.
Like you can't overlook Vance's accolades. Like yes, he's not an unbelievable stat player, but you know, off the eye test or just off of watching COD for a long time, you understand that that's not what he's about.
No.
He's about doing the dirty work and making the team better, and he does that. So it is Bant right now, but it will be Hydra.
I love it. What do you think about Insight or Kleenex?
Oh, Toby Kleenex is a good shot, man. He's got a lot. Any EU players that have been on Toronto, in fairness, have
Yeah.
a good amount of championships to their name. They're probably unfortunate that they've all teamed with Bance while they've been getting those, so Bance is still a little bit ahead of them every time. Toby's insane.
Unreal. His breakout year in like Black Ops 4 champs to me was like ridiculous.
Unbelievable. Like, it's a weird one. We sat down the Saturday morning of Vegas in Black Ops 4. We scrimmed against them before our games, and he was playing with a bunch of Danish players. They weren't great. We were like waxing them. I was like, these guys aren't very good. And then by the end of the year, the guy is grappling into that hill on Arsenal, grav spiking 3 of Envy, and then spinning and getting another one, going down the ramp, getting another one. Like, he's another one of those guys doesn't get off the game, puts his all in it, and if you're that consistent, you're gonna go far. Toby's a good shot.
Yeah. Obsession beats talent every time. If you've got talent to go alongside Obsession, then you're a big issue. But
Or Adam Sandler.
that is, I mean, that finalizes everything I have for you. Do you have any questions for me or anything you'd like to promote during this time?
Um, I hate trying to promote my own shit. My stream's gonna be on during the first couple of weeks of MW2 or 3. Sorry, that like just come and tune in and see what Brandon and Lewis can do. Because trust me, you won't be disappointed.
What's
And I'll try my best to showcase what they can do.
what's the Twitch?
Well, Powerhouse J7.
There we are.
Same as all my socials. Powerhouse J7. Even TikTok. If you want to go and see me lift heavy circles to various soundtracks, Powerhouse J7 on TikTok.
We'll link that all below. And can we just touch on that, by the way, on what a job you've done on that, by the way. Like, you've absolutely destroyed that. Like, you look fantastic.
Thanks.
Has to be said.
And it's to take it away from gaming completely. Take up the friggin' gym.
Yeah.
Or just take up something that is going to improve your physical well-being, because your physical well-being is going to transfer over to COD. Yeah, like if you're sat inside 12 hours a day just playing COD, it's not healthy, man. And it does feel like it's the only way to be good, but it's not healthy, man. Don't compete at the detriment of your own health.
No.
I let it get too far. I should have done it 4 or 5 years sooner, but that's just the way it is sometimes. So, sometimes it just takes a long time to click, and then you go, right, you need to stop having a laugh here and get your finger out.
When it clicks, right?
Exactly.
No going back. But I mean, yeah. So I think you're geared up for most possibly your most exciting year yet.
Yeah, I can't wait.
But is that all
And
you've
the game,
got?
by the way, we've not even touched on how good the game felt on the beta.
You want to touch that quickly? Because we can. It feels absolutely incredible.
Do you know what I think makes it better is that the slide cancel is actually like an engineered thing in the game. It's not like it's not like after 2 weeks shots he's found out a way to break cameras.
No, I agree.
It's supposed to be in the game, so it's less buggy or less just camera orientated or whatever.
I think it's the most balanced one. Like, it's not too overpowered, but it also helps the SMG players.
Yeah, I think it'll be good. I'm interested to see how these maps play in certain game modes.
Yeah, I was impressed with the rebuild, because I was even worried for like pubs, but like they've really rescaled the maps well, I think, to help the pace of the game.
Yeah, I think once you dial it down to 4v4 rather than 6v6, it'll slow down a good bit, which is good. It's just fun. I think Control, as much as I don't like Control as a third game mode, Control's one of those game modes that you can stick on any game, as long as there's a square, like 2 square places on a map.
Yeah.
Stick it there, and the map will kind of work, as long as the spawns aren't broken.
It's dummy proof. Like, as long as there's a tiebreaker for that 5th round, then
yeah, S&D will probably be fine. S&D was played a lot back in MW2 when it was originally out in 2009. That should be fine. Hardpoint kind of worries me a little bit.
Big question mark, right?
Off the top of my head, I've probably got like 3 maps that would probably work, and even then, they mightn't.
Go on, because I'm intrigued here.
Invasion's going to be in every single game mode.
Oh.
It's 3-laned. It's got building the stuff, which is kind of annoying at times, but it kind of is like the crux of a COD map. Terminal is, I feel like Terminal's going to be a hardpoint map. What was my other one? Oh, Skid Row.
Yeah.
Skid Row's going to be a good map for a hardpoint.
I agree. Solid picks.
Any other game mode on that map could be a bit ropey. Because where do you stick control points on Skid Row? You stick one of them in the tunnel?
No, I don't want to see you control Skid Row. I don't think anyone does.
Oh, stick one of them in the tunnel and stick one of them on the stairs at the other side of the main hall. Stop it.
Yeah, not for me. Not for me. But no, I think the game feels incredible, and I can't wait for that to release in a week's time.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm sure you're the same. Once you get off this podcast, straight onto the campaign.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. That's already booked in.
Let's
Get me on this campaign.
Let's go.
We're both going to go play the campaign. If you're watching this on YouTube, then please check the description below and go check out all of Powerhouse's socials. 22 Esports socials will also be there, who this man is representing for the first event of this year and maybe even further on to the year. If you're listening on Spotify, then big kiss on the head to you. Of course, consensual as ever. Please drop a 5-star review. And let me know, as ever, who you want on the pit next for episode 7. So, Powerhouse, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Shout out 22 Esports. Get me one of those hoodies with a bear on it.
And me, please.
They're fire.